accepting others to join the class. My name is Samson Akinwale, and I'll be taking you through the class today. Please confirm you can see my screen for me to be very sure. Just give me a sign to that effect, that's fine. Can you see my screen? Okay, by way of refreshing our memory for the benefit of those who didn't partake in the last class, here is the comprehensive curriculum we've been working through in the last 4 to 5 weeks. And this was occasioned by a popular demand or request, I would say, from participants following a couple of projects that we completed previously. We've done 3 projects, 2 main one and maybe just one, which was a data cleaning exercise. I think we did this, a data cleaning exercise. Then we had this being the very first project we completed. And hereafter, we also did this. But the fallout of this project that we completed were different comments from people who suggested that a number of the steps and the techniques we applied in arriving at this project at different stage of the project, that they are not too familiar with those steps and skills. So that was why we reasoned that we had to start from the basis and developed a comprehensive curriculum that an average person will be able to follow regardless of their level of knowledge or understanding of data, as it were. And that's exactly what bets this particular curriculum we've been following. And we have about 9 modules therein, and I think the 10th one is going to be a capstone project, which we are going to be doing more like an umbrella project, because there would have been different smaller projects in between every step of the way in each of the modules. So the very first module was this in talking about data analytics in general, and module 2 is to talk about getting started with data, which we have both completed. I mean, we are on module 2 now, and we hope to complete module 2 today. So module 3 is to deal with this preparing and cleaning up data for analysis. Module 4 will be taking on transforming data with Excel. Module 5 will be dealing with analyzing data using statistics. Module 6 will be taking care of introduction to relational databases and SQL. So SQL is what we call structured query language. And module 7 will be dealing with introduction to more structured queries. And 8 will move to Tableau, which is a data visualization 2. In parallel with Power BI by Microsoft, then we'll deal with ethics and bias in data, which is an essential aspect of data for everybody going into data to know what governance that is in place and what regulatory protocols are in place as per different types of data that are available. And thereafter, we'll move into the capstone project, like I said. So we are done with module 1, and we are almost completing module 2, which will ensure we complete today. So let me move straight to where we stopped the last class, and that is done this, this, this. Okay, for the purpose of today's class, I will share a link to a sample data I'll quickly be working on, so that whoever is also trying on his or her own in the course of the class or after the class can have something to walk through with. So in the last class, we stopped at formatting of items in a typical worksheet. Yep, formatting. Yep, number formatting. So today we continue from here. This was what we did in last class. We formatted the table we created, we populated the table, we applied some rules, we applied some formulas, we applied some functions, and we came up with what a table should be in Excel, converting a raw table into a well-formatted table style. In the course of today's exercise, I may have reason to equally do that. But for today, we want to see how we can easily import data in Excel. We could do that through a typical text file, or we do a CSV file before it gets into an Excel file itself. Let me quickly show us an example of that. Okay. For those who need the file, I've created a shared folder right on Google Drive. Then you can easily pick most of the data we've used so far. It is inside the same folder on Google Drive. So I'm putting this link right on the chat box on this call. You can follow the link to lay hold on the data I'm currently working on, which is a simple text file that we're going to deal with. So right here, I want to see how to import data from a text file or probably a CSV and getting it directly into Excel. For instance, I have already had a copy of the data, and that is the copy I also shared on that Google Drive in the chat box on this call. So you can go ahead and follow that link to access that file. So on getting the file, we just want to do a few things on that file. We want to probe into the file when we receive something disjointed that way. So it's a text file and it comes in more of a notepad format. And that's why I opened it in a notepad, just like I have right here. So I'm going to expand it a bit. Okay, so if you have a data like this, we want to check, how do you know the table heading in a particular data like this. For people who do not have the understanding, when they receive a data in this particular format, they may just lose hope or get discouraged and just discard it. Whereas this data is still as complete as a data you will see typically in a table format. This is also more like in a table format, even though it's not showing a table, but there is a technicality around it. Being in text file already shows some delimitation. We call them delimiters. Those delimiters are what are representing the column lines that you will see, either the column lines or the row lines that you will see in a typical table. And they are also still here, but this kind of program does not encourage drawing of line and formatting pictures or images. They are just more like text, and that's why it's appearing in this way. So it's very close to what we call CSV. So CSV is comma separated value. It is a set of numbers that are delimited or demarcated or specially arranged using comma to separate them. So more often than not, you see them in this way. I need to check through what exactly are the demarcation line or point of demarcation that the data is having. The moment you can spot it, then that shows to you is a complete data. All you need to do is just to move it to the right place you need to take it to for further analysis. So for instance, I stated a few questions you have to ask around what that kind of data is, which is this. What information is in the very first line of that text file? This particular text file I showed us, what information do we see in the very first line, or what I call the very first row? If you look closely, that information looks like the header or the subject head of what the data is. So for somebody who does not see or look very closely, will not understand that, oh, that first line is actually showing as header. You can easily mistake it with other data right inside there, but it's already showing it is the header. Now, what next do we want to ask in this data? I want to also check how many data columns do you think that table will have? And what would be the, what would the column headings be then? What character in a typical, will I call it language demarcation that is now used? So if you see, you can easily calculate how many columns this data will have by just numbering or counting all of these words separated by comma on the very first row of this text. And when you count it, 2, 3, 4, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. Then the next thing you want to check is what exactly is used to separate it. It's clearly seen that it is comma that is used to separate it. So how do you move this into Excel and just upload it? So I can have it this way in text file in a notepad and move it down into Excel, or I can pick it even as a CSV file. I can choose to save it as a CSV file somewhere in another folder on my system and go straight to Excel, open Excel, then I can come around to upload it inside Excel. For instance, let's say I have this Excel worksheet. I can go ahead to say I want to upload that particular data where it is. You go to your ribbon straight away, pick data on your ribbon. The moment you pick data, you have a drop-down menu of additional tools. Go to your far left, click on Get Data, and move down to pick from file. The moment you pick from file, you have additional sub-menu dropping down. Go straight and pick from text/CSV. So the moment you pick that, it opens your document window for you to go ahead and pick that particular file. So I can choose to pick this version, which is a CSV version, or I go ahead to pick this version, which is a text version. Either of the two, I can move them into a fully functioning Excel program, and it will load into Excel as a data set for me. So let me pick this text file and see what we can have. So I select this text notepad format file, and I click on import. So allow a few seconds for it to load. It has already loaded, as you can see. So here it shows you just few columns. The table may contain as many columns as possible. If you want to check if all columns are loaded, just scroll right and left on this, your scroll bar. This your horizontal scroll bar to see how many columns there are. Then as soon as you do that, come beneath and pick load. You want to load this data. So you have called that data anywhere it is, and it has been loaded straight. So you can see now the same data that was appearing disjointed, uncomely, and less fashionable in notepad format here that does not even make sense as it were, is now what has become this just with a couple of clicks by bringing it from that notepad format or whatever source it was down into Excel, and it's looking more neater and finer, ready for better observation and further analysis as it were. So that's exactly how you can pull data from anywhere. And that's one of those things that makes Excel a very powerful tool that sometimes some people look down on, not knowing Excel is much more powerful than what they are thinking. In fact, most of other data analytics tools we currently have today, they are built on the engineering of Excel, because Excel is what predicts all of them. And even Microsoft itself coming up with Power BI, this is just an advanced improvement on what they have done in Excel that they brought up for us in Power BI. We'll get there when we get to Power BI topic, and we'll see what we can do. So we've successfully brought up that data right into Excel, and here it is it, looking neater and finer. So what else do we want to do with this? Done with that. So we could go ahead and do a few calculations and use of function and formula like we did in the last class. Then we'll come back to the very next thing. So I have attempted to come up with a few table. I populated the table with a few things. Let me cancel this, bring this to the middle for us to see more. Control Shift, double plus, 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 bring this more to the center for us to see. Okay. Now, like I said a couple of classes ago, if you have a header that is so large, the columns are in their hundreds or thousands, you want to select all the header and do some formatting on it. You don't need to start highlighting right from your left to your right. What if that column is like 1,000? Will you do that up to 1,000 columns? That is cumbersome and laborious. You don't want to do that. Just go straight to the very first column that you are seeing that you have data on. It could be at column A, column C, but I brought this into the middle for us to see more clearly. So pick your first column and do Control Shift right arrow. It will go straight and highlight all of the header by itself. Then I want to just make it bolder. Probably I want to increase the font size. I come here, I do the font size increment right here. What else do I need to do? I want to see the content of each of the column very well. Just double click on the the line to the right for each of the columns to expand your column. You can see, so you see the complete name of all the headers now. What else do I want to do here? Just a few calculations. I want to get the total costs. I put my equal to sign. In getting total cost, all I need is the order quantity. I need to multiply the quantity by how much each quantity or each unit of quantity costs. And I already have it in column L. My quantity is in column K, then my unit cost of each quantity is in column L. So I put equal to sign, I pick column K in this regard, which is K2. I select multiplication sign, Then I go ahead to pick L2, then I press enter. So that column gives me straight away the total cost. Total cost is just multiply the unit cost by the quantity. So it gives me the total cost for that particular product. Instead of me to try and start writing the formula down for all of them, I can just do what we call flash filling. Just flash fill. Come to the right side of that rectangle for that cell, the active cell. Now, don't forget, we define all of this at the beginning of the section. For Excel, a single cell, only one cell can be active at a time. And to know the active cell, that is where the cursor is currently being placed. And the active cell name is displaying the name of that particular active cell. Currently now, if I want to know my active cell and I choose not to look at any part of the worksheet, I just come here to the cell name side. It gives me the active cell name. In this case, it is K12. If I bring it back to where I wanted to perform an operation, it takes it back to N2. The name of that cell, which is the active cell, will be reflecting at that cell name box. And that is how to know what particular cell you are on. So I want to flash fill this. You will see just a little dot at the lower right edge of the active cell, the lower right edge of the triangle of the active cell. So just double click it. The moment you double click it, you are flash filling. It will automatically drop down and calculate this same thing you have calculated for N2. It will calculate it for every other part of that column that has entries on column L and column K that I queried up in the formula for N2 initially. So let's do that. You can see I just flash fill and it calculated the rest automatically. So what it means is that if I have 1 million rows on this particular Excel worksheet, I just need to get a single row correctly. Then I flash fill. Excel populate everything accurately without mixing anything. But before you do flash filling or do anything, if you have made an error in one and you flash fill, you are multiplying or duplicating that error. So before you flash fill or duplicate what you have done into numerous numbers, you have to first ensure what you have done is correct in the first place. So in this case, I'm sure we are correct, then we can move on. So this is the total cost for all the products across the table, just a simple sample of data. So I come here, I want to calculate what the revenue is. How do we calculate revenue? So we have calculated total cost. How do I get revenue? Revenue is to multiply the unit price again with, we use unit costs to get total cost. So we multiply unit cost and other quantities to get total cost. This time around, we are multiplying unit price because it is revenue. How much did we make from this product? So it is the price of each of the products multiplied by the number of the product, just simple calculation. So tell Excel to do that for you, equal to pick the price this time around instead of picking the cost. So we pick the other quantity. Also introduce your multiplication sign, which is star in Excel, times, this time around, the price, and press enter. Then you have it. Okay, so I've shared the link to the data for those who need the data. Please, you can go ahead and pick it from there. All right. Just the way we flash fill for the first one we did on column N, you can flash fill for this one too. And it gives you the total revenue for each of the products across board. Now we move to the next line. Next column now, which is profits. What do we want to do here? How do we calculate profits? Of course, all accountants know that you don't even need to be an accountant. Just a simple uh, bookkeeping person understand what profit is. So you don't have a profit if you don't have a revenue. And when you have your revenue, then you also must know the cost you have incurred before you got that revenue. So the subtraction of your costs from your revenue is what gives you profits. If your revenue equals to your cost, it means you have just succeeded in breaking even. You have not made a profit, but at least you have only made enough money to cover all the costs you have incurred. So that person is more like at equilibrium level, and he needs to probably do more sales to now start making profit. So in this case, we want to calculate profit. We say equal to, we want to subtract our costs from our revenue. So you pick this guy and introduce your minus sign, then you pick this guy and press enter. So that gives you your profits. In the same way, we'll flash fill to have a profit for every other product, and we have all of them right here. I can now come here to say, okay, maybe at 6, I want to bold all of these, or I want to first say all of this that has to do with numbers and money. I want to give them a currency. So you can highlight all of them this way as I've highlighted it. Then you give a currency of your own. Come to the toolbar right here and pick the currency of your choice. You can pick pounds or you pick dollar. Should we pick pounds? Okay, let's pick, yes, let's pick pounds. All right, so we have that. Then what else do I want to do? I want to also say, let me give this particular last one a borderline just to show that that is the last item there that can equally indicate the last point of entry, after which we have total. So I can put, yeah, I've underlined that. Then I can equally come down here to say, I want to see total costs. Let me just put my total here. So this time around, I want to know the total revenue, and I want to know the total profit. Or better still, I can move this total to come here. Let me include, I want to know total costs across board. Across all products. I equally want to know total revenue across all products. I equally want to know total profit across all products. So here I have used formula earlier. I can equally use formula here, but you remember what we discussed in a couple of classes before. What brings about functions is the little limitation that comes with the use of formulas. If you are only using formulas and you don't use function, what happens is that you have to be writing and writing and writing all the time, and you may have 1,000 things to add together. If you have to use formula alone, you must write those 1,000 things and put plus sign in between all of them before Excel will add all of them together for you. But if you know how to use function, I don't need to add all of them by saying A plus B plus C plus D plus up to infinity, and now put them in bracket and press enter to get the total. No, all I need to do with the use of function without writing that long formula, I can just say equal to all the same, and I introduce a function. This time around, it is summation function. I bring it up this way and put, let me expand a bit. Yep. Okay, so that we can just see by watching. Okay, so I can start saying equal to n2 plus n3 plus n4. So imagine if it is 1,000 rows. Will I write from n2 to n1000? Where is that time? There is no time for such. So we need to be efficient. So it is in an attempt to make writing of formula more efficient that makes Microsoft to introduce functions in Excel so that you can easily substitute what you want to use formula on. So just go ahead and put sum, open your brackets, then just give the beginning and the last. I know the very first one here is N2. Then I introduce colon. So colon means a range. It means 2, meaning I want it to sum from N2 to N6. I just put it this way. I'll close my brackets so that argument is complete. The next thing I need to do is just to press enter, and it gives me straight away the total for that particular column. You will not see the beauty now until you start dealing with a very large data set and you need to add. You just like, is it not just to add? Then I will just write and add all of them together. Then you know how cumbersome those manual addition is. But by the time you just introduce function, it does it within a twinkle of an eye. So in the same way, I can do that for revenue and I can do that for profit. So instead of me to come here at column O and start writing the same formula, I can just come here on the first one I've written. That's the beauty of Excel. So you can extend things all around and just make your work faster and more efficient. So what do I need to do here? I can just click, I can flash fill to my right side now. At the right side of the bottom line of the active cell, the triangle depicting the active cell. So I just go ahead there, drag to the left, to my right this time around, and it should give me the value for orders. So by the time you check, you will see that the formula for this column is different from the one I called it from. Even though I copy from here, Excel is so intelligent that it will just copy that formula template. By the time it's dropping at where you want to use it, it will assume the nomenclature, the cell name of where you put it into, and that's exactly what it will use. So we copy it from N, but on getting to O, Excel intelligently arranges the proper cell reference with their coordinates, column against row, and that's what it used. This time around, I'm having it as O2 to O6, whereas it's from N2 to N6. It has gotten into O2 to O6. Same thing you see this side, it has changed to P2 to P6. Meanwhile, they all came from N2 to N6. That is how intelligent Excel can be for you. So because it's total, so we can choose to bolden it a bit to make it a bit more conspicuous for people to see at a glance. And what else do I want to do here to make it a little bit neater? If I like, I can just turn this into a more proper table. It's still looking like a bit of a CSV file, but I want it to look more like an Excel table. Put your cursor anywhere in the data. Do Control A to select all of them. Do Control T to bring this up. Then pick this, assuming that your table must have header. Then it will give you a very nice Excel table, which is good looking and more legible to see. So that is what we have done in transforming that particular data. And you can do some little adjustments all around in here too. I don't want this one to align right. Maybe I choose to make it come into the middle to look a bit neater. Come back to your home, look for this middle alignment, horizontal middle alignment and vertical middle alignment. So this comes here. What else do I need to sharpen a bit? I think that's about it. I want it to come out a bit. Control Shift plus, create a space up there, and yeah, that's all good for what you need to see. So those are very simple things. Hello? Is there a question? Okay, maybe it was just an interference. All right. So those are just a very few things you can do around simple data manipulation and populating table. Yeah, let's continue with our curriculum now and follow through. So we've opened, we've launched an Excel, opened the formula, introduced formula and function. Then we can save it. That is not an issue. Just Control S and name it whatever you want to name it and move ahead from there. The next thing is...
Please, I have a question before you move on.
Okay, please go ahead.
Okay, yeah. My name is Francis. Okay, Please, can you go back a bit and throw more light on using that function, that sum function? So I didn't get it properly how you added it, because in sum you put sum and put brackets, put the formula. Is it plus you put there or divide? Because it's like what I saw there looks like when you put the first one, it looks like divide. So
Okay. So are you practicing it
that total,
right
yeah, the
now?
total, yeah.
Are you practicing it on your own too, right?
Yeah, I'm watching. Yeah, I'm watching it. I will practice it, but I'm not practicing it
Okay.
immediately.
So let me just quickly just get a few
Okay.
variable right here again, just to show you what I did. So the numbers can be listed this way, and I can have this copy. Yeah, I can change it right and left just to vary the numbers. Okay, I can make this. Yep. This can be this. 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 Okay. So just assume I wanted to add up all of these, or do we do the summation or multiplication? In summation, you are talking about, right? Using the Excel, I mean, this,
Submission.
yeah, the summation function. So I said, for instance, now, if you check where the name of this active cell is, showing you it is K12. If I want to use formula to add it up, I can say equal to, then I start saying K2 plus, what is it now? K12 rather.
Yeah.
K12 plus K13 plus K14 plus K15 plus K16 plus K17 plus K18. You can see the long thing I'm doing. Eventually, it gives me what? 32.
32.
But that is a very long process. See how long that one took me. See the next one. I can just say equal to sum L12 to L18. I close the brackets. Okay. Instead of brackets, I put L initially. So I need to introduce bracket. Immediately you open a bracket after sum, open your bracket, press enter. Can you see? So this one is going to be, yeah, it's going to be faster than having to sum one by one. So in using your sum function, you just say equals to, you write the sum. Excel will open
bracket
all functions starting with sum for you. We are not using sum if now. I will get to the use of sum if later. So this comes with a condition. Sum if means had, provided there's a condition, provided and you have to specify that condition to Excel such that it can discretionally pick some cells in a column and add them without adding all of them, because you have only said sum if the number is less than 5. It's going to sum all numbers less than 5. So if you have many other numbers more than 5 in that column, it will not sum them. So that's when we use sum if with a condition. We call it conditional function. We'll get there later. So you just say sum. The moment you say sum, you open your bracket. See, underneath this box, Excel is so intelligent that it will give you the template of what that function is. The function is sum. It has open brackets. Then immediately it open brackets. What did it write? It wrote number 1. It said the very first number you want to sum, put it inside these brackets. After you put it there, you understand, you put comma, put the next one you want to put there. After you put it there, put comma, put the next one. But that is a long journey. The moment you know the
So,
first one, in this case, the first one is M12. Just write the cell reference, M12. So instead of now
okay.
saying comma M13, comma M14, comma M15, no, you don't need that. Just put colon, introduce your colon, and now go and
So,
write the
so,
last one.
so this column is serving as addition now.
So
That
that column is
column,
also a statement. Is in
okay.
mathematics, there's something we call word problem. In word
Yeah.
problem, mathematics is in words. You are now expected to turn it into numbers before solving it. So in this way, I want to sum from 12, L2, M12. I want to sum from M12 to M18. So the equivalent of 2 as in TO, the equivalent of 2 that Excel understand is colon. So sum from M12 to, that colon means to M18. Then I close my brackets. Excel has gotten that language. I mean, that's instruction. It's going to do that. I press enter, then you have it this way. Is that okay?
Yeah, okay. I've gotten it. Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah. I've, yeah, thank you. Let's proceed. Yeah.
All right. So, any other question? Then I move to
Good
the
evening,
next
sir.
thing.
Please, sir,
Good evening,
the
please. Go
explanations
ahead.
are not, please, sir, the explanations are not clear for me. Please, sir, please, can you help me to go again? I'm sorry for disturbing you, sir.
No, no, no. Please, there is no sir and there is no disturbance. We are here to learn together. So whatever you're not clear with, you can always um, raise your concern and let's
The way
discuss it
I'm,
together.
I'm
So you
also
want me to
following the
go
way I
over
did.
this again?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So in those classes, we discussed that Excel has two very fundamental ways of doing calculations. And by way of reminder, we discussed also that Excel was essentially created by Microsoft for accountants or people in finance or account. And that's why an average accountant, it is expected of them to be very proficient in the use of Excel. They know it. In fact, they have no choice because that was the essence of the development. But later on, dealing with financial models, creating some accounting functions, spread sheets, and doing some what is it called now? Maybe accounting calculations. It has now gotten beyond that level that every average people that deals with numbers, they need to have an idea of what Excel is saying because that's your closest tool to analyze things and play around before dealing with bigger analytical tools. So we said formulas were the basis. You write the formula as if you are writing mathematical formulas. So you want to add a few things together. But while you are adding together, you are not just writing on your normal exercise book any longer. You are writing on an application now, and that application has definition for location in the whole of the space you are seeing in any spreadsheet. So just like when you open your Word document and you see, for instance, let me open a Word document and you see an empty space. Word does not define this space as such. But for Excel, when you open an empty worksheet, that empty worksheet has definition. An example is this worksheet. There is a name for all of these parts of the worksheet. And how do you know that name? The moment I place my cursor anywhere, just check on this side. We call it the cell name box. That is where you get the name of the cell. And the cell you place your cursor on is what we call active cell. Even though there are millions of cells in a typical Excel worksheet, only one can be active at a single time. No two cells can be active at the same time in Excel. So when you place your cursor, it's picking just one cell. Unless when you merge cells, those merged cells become one in Excel's calculation and intelligence. So it sees them as one. So that the name of that cell is written here in the cell name box. Just see my cursor. That's where you can find it. Now, and those cells have name. Their names are they are written in alignment with what we call coordinates. So this time around, the coordinate is the name of the column slash the name of the row. See where my cursor is now. That is the active cell. The column is column J against row 18. So the name of this cell is J18. That is the basics. So when you now have numbers in all of those cells, those numbers or those values in them, Excel has already attached them to the name of each cell. That is why when we now need to add those values together, we call the name of the cells, and Excel goes ahead to the exact location of those cells and pick the values in them, either adding them or doing an average or giving a maximum out of them, whatever functions you are telling Excel to use. So for instance, when I now pick out this, all of the values here now are located in each of the cell names. So I now say, okay, I want to know the total sum of it. So I can pick them one by one and be saying, okay, this is K12 plus K13 plus K14 plus K this up to K18 and press enter. It will give me the total, but that is a long thing. Imagine if you have 1,000 of it in this column and you want to add them together. Will you start writing K12 up to K1000? You will have spent like 30 minutes doing that. That is an avoidable time loss. So to avoid such time loss, that's why Excel has functions. In addition to the fact that Excel can do formula calculation, it can also give you functions free of charge. So functions are built-in advanced formulas inside Excel. You don't need to type the formula any longer. Just go ahead and pick the required function instead of typing the formula. So in this case, we say equal to sum. I can also use, instead of sum, I can go ahead and say, give me average. I want to know the average value of all of this number. I write average. So average is a recognized function name. So the moment I type it, Excel gives me all of these examples. So I don't need other ones. I just need the pure average. So I open brackets in front of it, just like I did for sum. I pick the very first one on the set of things I want to find average of. In this case, it is K12. So I pick K12. Instead of saying average of K12, K13, K14, K15, up to K18, that's long. What if what I need to average is even more than these 7 or 8 items? So I go ahead and use a smarter way. K12, that's the first one. And that's what you need. The first one and the last one. K12 to, this case, K18. Put K18. Close your brackets. Press enter. So Excel is telling me now that the average of all of this number is 4.57. I can come here and just change it to 2 decimal places if I like, or I round it off to the nearest whole number altogether. I want to take it back to 1 decimal place, or I want to take it to 2 decimal places. That's for average. You can do for sum. So this is what we also did in the other class. You can do for sum too and say, okay, this amount is no longer column K, is in column L. So I say L12 down to L18. I close my bracket. I press enter. You can see this does not go. Why? Excel does not understand that story I just told you. Can you tell me the reason? Somebody can just tell me the reason. Why didn't Excel give me the answer here? Unlike giving me here, what happened? What am I missing, or what
Yeah,
have I done wrong? Pardon?
because of how you put your bracket, you didn't put it properly.
Okay. No, the bracket is okay. L12 and L18, bracket was open, bracket was also closed. Why was it not
Okay,
following the
okay,
instruction?
it's because he didn't put the surname. The surname is supposed to be. It's supposed to be. Okay, supposed to be L, supposed to be L 12
Can somebody tell me
is
why is Excel not calculating this thing for me?
equal
Press
to
enter.
there is no equal to before
There is
sum.
no equal to. Thank you. That's all. I told you. Remember, the very first thing you must give to Excel if you want to do calculation, put equal to sign. That activates a module inside Excel that gets ready. There is a calculation that is going to be required of you shortly. If you don't put equal to and you put your functions correctly, put your formula correctly, it will not go anywhere. So let's take notes. So it's because of the equal to sign that is not there. So the moment I put it down and I press enter, can you see it has calculated it? So I may choose not to recalculate for the other side if that is what I want to use. I want to also find some. I will just drag it across. It will calculate all of them for me. And this is how accountants easily move around their work and get some insight from the financial data they have. Excel made their life so easy. If there was no Excel back in the day, most accountants wouldn't have found it funny dealing with numbers, especially in the large amount of numbers that most companies now have. So, any other question before I move to the next thing? Wow, time is fast spent. I want us to make sure we finish module 2 today. Are we okay with that, right?
Yes, yes.
Yes, that's fine. So that is that about that. Then we can save that file and move down. So now we are moving to the use of simple function for data analysis, gathering data, observations, variables, and values. Then types of variable. Then that ends module 2. So thereafter we'll move to module 3, which is going to be in next class. All right. So in general, there are different ways we can use to deal with data sourcing, data gathering, and getting data in general. We mentioned it in one of the modules at the beginning, and it's coming up again here because we need to be sure that the data you are getting is the very right data you are supposed to use. And the task being given to you will necessarily come with the data you are to analyze. So the very first source of data for you is the customer requesting you to undertake that task for him or her. But you can also access data. For instance, if any question comes to your mind, for instance, you want to just know, okay, how many Caucasians are into data analytics? There may likely be no organization that want to give you that data. You can just go online and do what we call data scraping. There are tools and applications we can use to scrape some internet and extract some data from them. Then you go ahead and start to analyze. Or you can go to Kaggle. We use Kaggle in the other class. Kaggle is also a platform where you can easily access data to answer any particular project that comes to mind. You may not have been requested by any clients to analyze any
Please,
data,
sir,
but
repeat the name of that. Please, sir, repeat the name of that app we are going to use to.
so we call it data scraping. Data scraping is a process, it's a phenomenon, and there are applications that can be used to do that. You can Google that or ask ChatGPT that, okay, data scraping, how do I go about it if you don't have anybody to take you through. So ChatGPT can give you some steps on how to do data scraping. That's one. Two, there is an established existing platform called Kaggle. Kaggle is Kaggle. Kaggle. I demonstrated it in a couple of classes ago, but because of time, I will not be able to do that. Just go to kaggle.com. Kaggle will give you all sorts of data. In the search tool, you can mention the industry or the field that you want to get data from. Maybe it is sales data from a particular telecommunication company or sales data from a cement making company or whatever. Any data you just feel like accessing, Kaggle will bring it out for you. and that's another source of data anyway. Then the client can equally give you data. Then you can also generate data on your own through a process called primary data gathering in research, and that is what we call the use of primary data. And we use survey to do that. You can develop a survey, list out some questions in the survey for people to answer, distribute the survey all around electronically, and let people fill the Google form of the survey. At the back end, you see the data people have filled. You can harness that data, export it to Excel, and you have a data live on your lab. I've done that severally. One of the projects I did recently too, I did a survey where I had to gather that data, and my MSc project too, a part of it also requested me to get some data. So I did a survey too. At the back end, I gather the data and I analyze it using Python, um, analytical tool, and some other things like that. So those are different sources through which you can get data, or different ways through which we can gather data. Then on gathering the data, you can get it to your platform, like I demonstrated earlier, by importing it to Excel. The same way we imported to Excel is the same way we can import to Power BI. And in the same way we can import to Tableau, or in the same way we can import to the typical SQL platform. In this case, we are going to use Oracle database to do our SQL. I can't wait for us to get to that module to deal with that. So that is for data gathering and loading data into whatever platform you want. So next is observations, variables, and values. How do we have observation? What do we call observation rather? What do we call variables? What do we call what are values? We know what values are generally. So generally, for instance, there are different characteristics that come with what people need to search or make findings about. Those different characteristics of what they are searching for is what generates, or is what constitutes, what we call variables. For instance, somebody's car might get stolen, or the car has gotten missing, and he or she wants that car back, is searching for the car. So let's assume he goes ahead to tell a particular company or organization that he knows can help him get the car or search for the car. Maybe he goes ahead to report to the police. There is search for something. I just want to show us how data generation and gathering came to be. So there is always something you are searching for that eventually constitutes a data set. So where we are going finally is data set, but where did it begin from? So this guy is looking for his lost car. He's gonna head to report to the police, and they have to ask him a few questions to be able to put their hand around what to look out for when helping this guy to search for the car. One of the things they would definitely ask is the brand name of the car, right? And what else would they ask? They will also definitely ask about maybe the model of the car. What else would they likely ask about? They've been also asked about maybe the color of the car.
The color of it.
Yeah. What else would police also have? Maybe they also ask, okay, what is the seating capacity? Maybe let's say let me use size. They want to know the size of the car so that they will know how many people can that car contain. Okay, it says 4-seater car, it's a 5-seater, it's a 7-seater, and all that. They want to have their minds on it. So these are what we call characteristics of that particular thing that is being lost. And imagine if we now have 1,000 people or 2,000 people who have their car also missing that way, and they are reporting to the police. What do you think will happen? Police is generating a data from instances of missing vehicles. So for instance, let's fill up this as row 1. The brand of the car could be Toyota. Let's say car 1. Somebody has reported Toyota being lost, and he said the model is 2024, and the color is blue, and let's say the size is, let's say, can we call it a 7-seater? Another person can come, date can be here. Let's say date is here. Yeah. So another person can come, and the person can also mention location. Location can also be here, because all of these things, you will see how it will constitute intelligence in data gathering in the process of that. So the date could be today's day. Let's assume it's today's day, which is 220226. Let's say another person comes and says, okay, my car is, yeah, I'll put location. Thank you. Let's say the next person come and say his car is Mercedes, right? And the model is 2014, and the color is gray, and the size is probably 5, and location, let's say location is Gilliam, and this person up here says his own location is Birmingham. The dates can be any other thing. Let me just put hypothetically the dates. So I can just duplicate this for because of our time, undo. So what have I succeeded in doing here? I can change this date here, then also vary the Toyota, or I can put what other brand here? I can put Nissan, what other brand, and just vary a few things like that. From gray, you can choose green. Some can have double color, blue, black, like that. So in the long run, what do you think would have happened? The police department or unit will have generated all of this data. And you know what insight they can draw out of it? They can, at the end of the day, analyze, what brand of car gets or is commonly missing in a particular location. And while drilling further, what exactly is the insight behind the fact that that exact brand of car we have seen out of 100% of cars stolen in Gilliam, 75% of those cars are Toyota cars, and they are so model. How will they get that? Is because of the data being kept with timestamp and everything being written. So that's exactly what comes up with this thing when we are talking about variables. Yeah, that's what exactly are variables. They are the different characteristics of things we are searching for, and they are not constant. That's why we call them variables. They differ from one level to another. So variables changes with time, and their different instances also change. So all the variables that we have are the ones that eventually constitute an observation. Let's say, for instance, I came to the police and I told them my car is missing. That is just car. Okay, that's a car. And I also mentioned just my car, but I did not tell them what brand. That particular complaint cannot be recorded. You just came, you said your car is missing. They asked you what is the brand of the car. You kept quiet. You cannot say anything. Such particular complaint will never enter the book. But the moment I go ahead to say the brand is Nissan, I have already consolidated the variable. It has now become what we call observation. If you say I saw a car missing and they ask you what car did you see that was missing, I cannot even recollect the car that was missing, then you have not seen anything. But if you could say, okay, I saw a Toyota car, that's an observation. It means you actually observed, and they will put it as Toyota written down there. So Variables constitute our observation. The value of variables is what gives birth to observation. And the value of observation is what we call data points in data analysis. And each data point, when written across a given role, is what constitutes what we know as record. A record in a database or a record in a particular spreadsheet. The spreadsheet could be Excel. So when you have a set of observation completely filling all the required questions for a particular recording, that is what we call a recording in data analysis. Now, you can now view each of the recording or each of the observation. We can view them as an item or a single element in which, when added to other ones, will generate a data set. See how we started from just from row one, we just fill up this row. And when we now have every other person's complaint being recorded the same way, then you have already succeeded in generating a data set. And it is that data set that can now be analyzed based on the region for which it was collected, and insight can be drawn out of it. That can even help police all the more to probably speak to car manufacturer that, okay, in the last 2 years, we've observed that so brand of car easily gets missing. And when we made some findings, we discovered that there is a part of the car that makes it more susceptible to some hoodlums attack or invasion, as it were. So do you mind trying to imputing or adding extra security checks to this particular brand such that when something is to happen, it triggers this and all that? That is how developed world came to the level they are. They are always sitting on data, analyzing what insight data is giving onto them per time, and making improvement as a result of those insights they have gotten. So apart from having technological tools that give us ability to analyze data, people that are supposed to use the data also need to have an idea of how do they query data, how do they ask questions, and that's exactly the reason for these interactions. We are speaking to people who deal with data, people who are employees, people who are leading employees. You don't need to lead employees with your intuition. You have to lead them based on the data they generate, on their activities and their day-to-day involvement in things. Those are the data you have to interpret to help them improve on what they do and suggest further solutions to whatever issue that may arise at any point in time. So we are taking our time to go this low and deep such that when we come back to a dashboard creation like this, everybody, if I'm applying any tool or any particular feature or any calculation, you understand, oh, this is what it's doing. I understand how to get a chart. Oh, I understand how to make a calculation. Oh, I understand how to pull a cell reference in and bring it to a KPI like I'm having on this particular dashboard. So that is the essence of all what we are doing, and I'm glad we are making meaningful progress. The next thing is to now get set for module 3, which we will be taking in the next class. We've spent well over an hour, and I will not be able to share the recordings for this class on some platform because of the time we have already used. Only YouTube will be able to take as much length as over an hour. So we may draw the curtain here, provided there is no question or observation from anybody. Yes, please.
Please, sir, can we do the sample ourselves and send the sample to, like, we can do the work ourselves and send the sample to you on WhatsApp?
Absolutely. Do it, share with
Right.
everybody on the platform and say, okay, this is what you learned in the last class, this is what you came up with on your own. And that will also encourage as many people as possible. So the essence is for you to be able to practice on your own and build that capacity and familiarity with data. Thank you.
Right, sir. Thank you, sir.
Good evening. Good evening,
Good evening,
sir.
please.
Thank you for your time. Thank you
Please,
for
my
your
name is
time.
Samson. You don't need to say sir. Let's just interact. I'm Samson. That's all.
Okay. Okay.
Yes.
Yeah, Mr. Sampson. Yeah, thanks for the time and explanation. I think I'm able to follow up with the class despite the fact that I just joined today. So my own is just a request.
Okay.
Is it possible we can get the previous classes you've done so that we
That's
can be able
fine.
to?
So
Yes.
I'll share the YouTube link for all the classes we've done. They are all recorded. I will share the YouTube link. Then in a short while, just a moment, I will share the first two projects. This link takes you, I'm sharing it now on the chat box. You can quickly pick it. This particular link takes you to project one. This particular project I just showed you, I've dropped the link. If you check the link, it will land you on either Talent Basket's LinkedIn page or my own LinkedIn page. And under that post, you will see several links of the different section that constitutes this particular project. We use up to four or five sessions to finally achieve this particular project one you are currently seeing on the screen. And for project two, I think I also have the link for that. Yep, this is the link for project two. Yep, I'm copying that. Also in the chat. Then every other the links to other section, because this one is the, what number? Yeah, this is the 14th section, meaning we have had 14 different sections. So I will share the link, or you can just as well go to the YouTube page for Talent Basket. Just type Talent Basket on YouTube. It will land you on the page. You will see all the links. Listen, interact with the content, and across platform that way. We equally have same thing on LinkedIn. We have on YouTube. We have on Instagram. We have on TikTok. We equally have on Facebook. So you can do well to make your interaction across platforms like that. Thank you.
Yeah.
Any
Thank
other?
you so much. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Any other contribution, comment, or question? That's all. Okay. In the absence of no other comments, I want to thank you all for taking out. Somebody want to ask a question? Samson Adebayo, please go ahead.
Thank you so much.
Yes, please go ahead.
Apologies for not being speaking. Well, I also wanted to ask if I could get, or if we could get past class from the beginning, so as to follow the order of these classes, so as not to mix up different projects. But since you said there's a YouTube link, please can you help me share the YouTube link to the group, sir?
Okay, yeah. So yeah, that's fine. Is that all? Okay, so the easiest thing is the two links I just shared now. First, follow them. They are links to project 1 and 2. Project 1 alone has 5 other links in it, because there are about 5 sections that we use to achieve or complete project 1. So that particular link will help you to directly pick the 5 links in order for project 1. So you just go through the 5 of them in order, because on YouTube they are not labeled as the videos for project 1. You will not see them as videos for project 1. But this particular link post, I consciously pick up all of those videos meant for project 1 and put them in that particular post, such that when people only want to study how to arrive at this project 1, they need to follow those 5 different videos whose links are listed in that video. So you can as well just do that. For that, follow this particular link I put on the chat if you can see it. Okay, no problem. Somebody want to be send me question later on. All right, that's fine. So we will need to, then you can do for project 2 also, and you can easily follow through every other ones on YouTube. But if you want me to still share the link one by one on YouTube, no problem. That can be done for you.
Okay, sir. Okay, sir. Yes, I see, sir.
Yeah. All right. So before I close the meeting, if you need the link, you can quickly pick it before the meeting get closed. It's in the chat box. You can just pick the links there and just move ahead. Thank you all for your time once again. We'll meet same time next Sunday while we are starting module 3. Do you have a wonderful
Okay.
week ahead?
Okay, the Mr. Sansi, the module 3 is it in the module 3 that we have the Power BI? Or after the module 3 we'll go
No,
to the Power BI?
we still have a long way. See the screen, see the curriculum we are
Okay.
following. Power BI,
Okay.
let me see where Power BI or other tool is. This is module 2. Module 3 is preparing and cleaning data. That's what we want to do in module 3. Can you see?
Okay.
Module 4 is
Yeah.
transforming data with Excel. We are now going into deeper analysis. Then module 5 will be analyzing data using statistics. Module 6, that's when we leave Excel. We move to relational databases, that is SQL. But by the time we get to SQL, our foundation will have been so solid because we have taken time to deal with Excel very well. Don't forget, I said Excel is the foundation of all of those analytical tools. You will see the extension of Excel in there. And that's why the curriculum deliberately dwell on different aspects of Excel to build us very well and sharpen our skills. So before we start touching other tools. So the secret about data analysis is not about jumping from tools to tools. First pick one and digest it very well. Chew it raw.
Yeah.
After that, by the time you are done with that, you are picking any other one like this, it will be as if you are just doing ABC. So, and that's the logic behind it.
Okay. Thank you very much for the class.
Thank you, everybody, for your time. We'll meet next class. Have a wonderful week ahead, and bye for now.
And you too. Bye.